What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name's CJ, and in today's video, we're looking at some more NBA player props for you over on PrizePicks. This could be the last NBA video of the season. We don't know yet. We're waiting to see what's going to happen tonight when the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns lock horns. Do the Suns put up a fight? Do they extend the series and go to a Game 7? Should be must-see TV. I can't wait to see what happens. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button now. It helps me out quite a bit. Also, want to make sure that those notifications are turned on for any future content that I release so you don't miss out on any of that. And let's go for a like goal of 30 likes on today's video. Our last video, I think we fell a little bit short of that, but we definitely did pretty well in that video. We went 3 out of 5, so that's a winning night in my book. Now, if you don't play on PrizePicks yet, now's a fantastic time to sign up. They're doing a 100% instant deposit match. So if you put in 20 bucks, they're going to match it, giving you $40 to play with. You can do that all the way up to $100. If you put in 100, they're going to match it, giving you 100 bucks. All you need to do is use the link down in the description or use promo code Curry when you go to sign up on prizepicks.com. So with NBA coming to an end, I'll be getting into more different types of content. I've already been kind of dabbling in CSGO behind the scenes. If you're a member of our Patreon community, then you already know what I'm talking about. I've been putting out helpful sheets that are winning people money on CSGO. So if you're into that sort of thing, definitely jump in there. I also released some MLB strikeout sheets that win some people some money. So it's going to be a CSGO MLB type of summer until the NFL rolls around, and I am super stoked to get back to some football. So if you're into that sort of thing, definitely stay tuned to the channel. I plan on releasing a couple of CSGO videos, and then I've got a CSGO playbook that I want to release to everyone to help with researching CSGO and making that process a bit easier and friendlier for you if you're unfamiliar with what goes into the research in CSGO. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you don't follow me on Twitter, there's a link down in the description. Follow me on Twitter for all the latest new things that I'm up to. So with that out of the way, let's talk about some of these props. Now, these props are the props that I'm seeing getting the most action out on various sports books out there. So these are the ones with the highest odds, the best, strongest odds, meaning the public is putting their money on these props tonight, making them very popular plays, we'll say. So let's start things off by looking at today's game total and spread. We've got 222 implied points here. That's the combined score of the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks, in case you're unfamiliar with that. Now, Milwaukee is a 5-point favorite at home, meaning that's the spread. That's how many points they're expected to win by. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a blowout. Looks like it's going to be a pretty safe spread here in terms of being close and competitive throughout. So hopefully that's the case, and we don't have a blowout here by the Milwaukee Bucks or by the Phoenix Suns, because blowouts absolutely suck when you're talking daily fantasy sports or you're talking sports betting. It's the number one killer, in my opinion, other than injuries, I guess you could say. But anyway, the props that were sticking out to me, the first one's going to be Drew Holiday of the Milwaukee Bucks, and we're looking at his assist prop of 8.5 assists. This seems entirely too high based on some of the projections that I've seen. I kind of went out to various sites, averaged those projections together. I ended up with a 7.3 assist projection tonight. So if we go to numberfire.com, completely free website, by the way, guys, you could go out here and do this all on your own if you want to do your own research. You can see that on numberfire.com. They've got him at 8 assists. 8 obviously makes the lean toward the under on his 8.5 assists the way to go. So I've got him projected at 7.3. Numberfire's got him projected at 8. Either way you cut it, still the lean is toward the under on this particular play. So we're going to go over to basketballreference.com. Now, normally I use nba.com/players to do some research on stats and stuff like that, but in this case, NBA.com was acting stubborn, we'll just say. So we're on Basketball Reference today, and we're going to be looking at some of the stats here. So we'll start things off by looking at his regular season assist numbers. So let's scroll on down here. We'll go down to the 2020-2021 season, and we'll scroll over just a little bit here to bring this more in center. And then you can see his assist numbers, 6.1 assists per game. Not very good when you're considering the over here on 8.5. So that's looking like an underplay based on his regular season stats. But now if we hit the playoff tab and we scroll over, You go to the assist number and you can see he's at 8.5 assists, which is much, much better here. So we're going to take things a step further and we're going to get into Jrue Holiday's playoff game log here and just kind of look at his last handful of games, maybe just the games from this series, to get a better idea how well he's been doing in terms of dishing out assists so far. Now, in his last game, he did a very good job, 13 assists. But if we go back another game, 7 assists, that's an under. 9 assists puts him over, 7 assists and 9 assists. So overall, in his last 5 games, all of the games against the Phoenix Suns so far in this series, he's got 3 games where he has went over today's 8.5 assist prop, and he's got 2 games where he's fallen short with just 7 assists. So there you have it, kind of a brief little wrap-up summary here on Jrue Holiday. So once again, the projections seem to be favoring the under on Jrue Holiday. I've got him as a minus 145 to go under 8.5 assists. So that's how the public is betting on this. Is this one a surefire pick? I don't know, man. Based on the game logs, based on the playoff averages, this one might be a little bit shaky, but I just wanted to bring it up because it is one of the props that are getting the most attention, we'll say, from people out there on various sports books. So with that one in the books, we can go to Jay Crowder. And his assist number is at 1.5 assists. Now, 1.5 assists, I've got him projected for 2.4 assists. We'll go back over to Number Fire real quick, and we'll take a look at where they've got him projected. They've got him at 2.6. So I've got him at 2.4. They've got him at 2.6. And he is a minus 145 to go over 1.5 assists out on some of the sports books out there. So everything is pointing to the over, but we don't stop there. We dig a little deeper. We try to put together the pieces of the puzzle here and see if this over really is the way we should be going on Jay Crowder. So to do that, we're going to go over to Basketball Reference once again. We're going to scroll on down here. And you can see that for the regular season, in terms of assists, 2.1 assists, which puts him over 1.5. So that's a good sign if we are leaning toward the over. We click the playoff tab here. We scroll down and you can see that he's at 2 assists per game, which again puts him over 1.5. So the lean toward the over definitely seems like so far the way to go based on projections, based on the Vegas sports books, based on his averages for the regular season and the playoffs. So everything's looking pretty good so far for Jay Crowder. Now, we're going to go to the 2021 playoff game logs, and we're going to scroll on down here and see how well he's been dishing out the ball in this series against the Milwaukee Bucks so far. So if we go to the assist column, he's got 3 assists in his last game. That's good for an over. 3 assists again. That's good for an over. Now, he does miss this one here, falling just a little bit short with just 1 assist. Then he's got 3 assists again going over. And finally, going back to the first game of this series, he has 0 assists. So overall, in his last 5 games, all of them coming against the Milwaukee Bucks, he has went over in 3 out of 5, which is a pretty good sign, especially if we are leaning toward the over for Jay Crowder here. So once again, I've got him projected to go over 1.5 assists. I've got him at 2.4, and he is a minus 145 betting favorite to go over 1.5 assists as well. So I think the over is the way that you should be thinking about going on Jay Crowder as well. So let's go ahead and move over to the rebounds. And for the rebounds, we're going back to Phoenix here. We're actually going to talk Chris Paul. Now, PrizePicks has him at 3.5 boards, but out there on some of the various sports books, you're going to see him at 4.5 boards. I did find some odds at 3.5 rebounds for Chris Paul, and he was a minus 175 to go over 3.5 boards. Minus 175 is not a number you see very often. That's actually pretty darn good. And I've got him projected to go for 5 rebounds. So I think this is criminally low here for Chris Paul at 3.5 boards. Maybe something else is at play here that I'm overlooking, but you got him at 4.5 boards on some of the books. You got him projected at 5 or more rebounds on a lot of different websites. And, you know, he's a huge betting favorite as a minus 175 for the over at 3.5. So let's dig into Chris Paul's projections over on Number Fire real quick. And you'll see that he is at well over 3.5 boards, actually going for, where is he? There we go. 5.3 rebounds. I thought I lost him there for a minute. 5.3 rebounds. So that actually puts him way over 3.5 rebounds. So guys, the over is the way I'm definitely leaning here based on these projections. I just don't think 3.5 is the right number for him. So let's go ahead and move forward here. We'll look at some of his averages for the regular season and the playoffs. And we go to TRB, which stands for total rebounds per game, in case you didn't know. We go down for the regular season, 4.5 rebounds per game. That actually puts him well over 3.5. Let's click the playoff logs and go to TRB once again. Now for the playoffs, his rebounds are actually down a little bit. He's at 3.6, which, you know, doesn't put him a whole lot over 3.5, but does indicate that more often than not, he's closer to 4 rebounds than he is 3. So still, I would say that the over is definitely on the table. So we'll switch it up and go look at his game logs real quick against this Milwaukee Bucks team. In his last game, did not do a good job here of rebounding the ball. Ended up with just 2 boards. The previous game, though, he had 4 rebounds. Going back before that, 0. Then he has 4 and 4. So most of the time in this series so far, he has cleared 3.5 rebounds with 4 rebounds. He did that 3 times out of his last 5. So that's 3 overs compared to just 2 unders in his last 5 games. So the overs are definitely in play, in my opinion. The projections, they all seem to think that he's going to soar past 3.5 boards. I think 4 to 5 rebounds is realistic here, especially when he comes off of a game where he pulls in just 2 rebounds. Usually that's a good time for me to target a guy. When he's coming off of a bad game, I kind of like to go back to the well, so to speak, and take the over. So I'm liking this prop maybe a little bit more than the other props that we've looked at so far. So once again, Chris Paul projected for 5 boards. He's also a minus 175 to go over 3.5 rebounds. And in that case, I don't ask too many questions, but we did do the extra research on Chris Paul, so you could feel a little bit better before you lock that in. Next guy we're going to talk about is Brook Lopez and his rebound prop of 4.5. Now I've got him projected for just 4.8, so this is by no means a lock in my opinion. In fact, I could see this going either way. I could see him pulling in 4 rebounds as much as I could see him pulling in 5 rebounds. So this one comes with a little bit of risk, I would say, but at 4.5 boards, I've got him as a minus 150 on some of the books out there to go over 4.5. So that is why he made the cut for today's video. So we're going to head back over to Number Fire and we're going to look for Mr. Brook Lopez. Now they got him at 4.8 rebounds, which is right where I have him at, 4.8 rebounds. So we kind of both agree that the over is the lean that we should be looking at here for Brook Lopez, meaning that he should be closer to 5 rebounds than 4 rebounds tonight. So hopefully that is the case if you do end up taking the over here. So we're going to move things back over to Basketball Reference. Let's scroll down here, go to TRB for Mr. Brook Lopez. Splash Mountain, as they call him. He's a 7-foot 3-point shooter. 5 rebounds per game in the regular season. That puts him over 4.5. Let's click the playoff tab and see how that number changes. Well, his rebound numbers actually go up when we look at the playoff tab here. He's up to 5.8 boards, really close to 6 rebounds per game. The over still definitely in play, in my opinion. Not seeing anything swaying me at the moment. All right, so we've got him, his game logs pulled up here against this Phoenix Suns team in this series so far, and his rebounds are all over the place. I'm not going to say he has been a model of consistency when it comes to crashing the boards. In fact, if you look at his last game, he had 6 rebounds, which puts him over 4.5, but the game before that, for a 7-footer to only pull in 1 rebound is pretty pathetic. We go back to the third game in his game log, 2 rebounds, putting him well under again. The first 2 games, though, much better. He had 6 boards and 9 boards. So overall, in his last 5 games, he's covered 3 out of 5 times at 4.5 rebounds like he is today. So that's looking like a pretty strong lean. He did pull in 6 boards. So if you kind of believe in like numbers and patterns and stuff like that, I don't know. You know, he went over twice, then he went under twice. Maybe he goes over twice again. I'm just throwing it out there, guys. So there you have it for Brook Lopez. 4.5 rebounds, again, projected for 4.8, not a lock by any means, but he is a betting favorite to go over at minus 150. So with those 2 rebound props out of the way, we're going to finish things off, recap this with a 3 3-point prop. And we're talking Michael Bridges of the Phoenix Suns, who's at 1.5 3-point makes. Now, he is seeing a lot of action for the over on this 1.5 3-point make prop. I've got him as a -150 to go over 1.5 3-point makes. Some other ones that would, I would guess, get notable consideration, we'll call it. I also had Jay Crowder at a -142 to go over 2.5 3-point makes, and I had Chris Middleton as a -145 to go over 2.5 3-point makes. So those are a couple of other names that we've talked about in previous videos who, have hit their 3-point props more often than not in this playoff series. So just some other names to consider. But today we're talking Michael Bridges. I have him projected for 1.8 3-point makes, which is a lean toward the over, meaning he's going to get close to making 2 3-pointers, hopefully. So we're going to go back to Basketball Reference. Let's go look at the regular season numbers for Michael Bridges. You can see he attempted about 4 3-pointers per game, 3.8, and he made 1.3 3-point. I'm sorry, that's for 2018-2019. We're gonna want to look at 2020-2021. So for this season, 4.4 3-pointers attempted per game, making 1.9, really close to 2. So that's much better than the first number I was starting to read there. So that's a 42% 3-point field goal percentage. So that's looking pretty good here. Let's see if those numbers go up or go down when we look at his playoff performances. Now, he's appeared in 21 playoff games. You can see that he's still attempting about 4.5 3-pointers per game, making 1.7. His 3-point percentage has actually dropped off a bit, 37% so far in his playoff appearances. So it's a little bit of a concern, but still 1.7 is more than 1.5 and really, really close to 2 3-point makes. So let's go look at his game logs real quick. And we go back here to his last game and we look at the 3-point column. He attempted 3 3-pointers. He made all 3 of them. That's good for 100%. We go to the previous game. He goes 1 for 2. That's an under. Previous game, 0 for 2. That's an under. Now, this game, he goes 3 for 9, attempting 9 3-pointers. That's kind of an outlier, an anomaly, we'll say. So 3 for 9, he does go over there. And we go back to game 1 of this series. He goes 2 for 4. That's good for 50%. And that's good for a cover on today's 1.5 3-point prop. So all in all, guys, in his last 5 games, all of them against this Milwaukee Bucks team in this playoff series, he has gone over in 3 out of 5. So that kind of gives you an idea of maybe which way to go on Michael Bridges. Is he a high volume 3-point shooter like Jay Crowder? No, he attempts a lot less 3-pointers than Jay Crowder does, but all he's got to do is make 2, where Jay Crowder's got to make 3. So if you don't like the Michael Bridges prop, if you want a guy who shoots a little bit more 3-pointers than Michael Bridges, you could always go Jay Crowder and take the over there. He's been hitting the 3 or more 3-point makes with pretty good consistency. So that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully it's not the last video. Maybe we'll see a game 7. No matter what ends up happening tonight in today's game, I'll be back with either some MLB, some CSGO. You have not seen the last of me. So again, make sure you're subscribed, notifications turned on, and if this video helped you out in any way, hit the like button for me. I appreciate all your support, and we'll see you real soon tonight. Good luck if you're playing on PrizePicks. And don't forget, if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, promo code Curry gets you that 100% instant deposit match. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.